guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to be going to Orchid Trail Nurseries in Raleigh, North Carolina. So if you're into the orchid type of thing, then this is a video for you where you could check out the orchid prices, which I think is really affordable for an orchid here. Sorry, I'm holding the camera so it's cringe, but yeah, so let's go right into the video so you can check out the orchids there. Okay, now we're inside one of the greenhouses as far as I know, and this one is a greenhouse where people own it, as there's the names of the people who own the orchid under the pot or on the stand where it is, and some of them are in terracotta pots because some of them own it, and some of them are in bloom. So apparently what they do is they leave the orchids here, and when the orchids are blooming they take them home to showcase. So they here have a lot of orchids, and none of them I could touch because someone actually owns them. So yeah, they asked me not to touch it when I asked if I can film here. And I'm actually doing a voiceover for these guys because the fans were really loud, and I'll try my best to name the orchids for you. And here I see some Luscidia discolors, which is basically the only orchid I know, and Scleropedium walleye. Sorry if I butcher the name, don't point me out for anything because I'm kind of showing them on the screen so you can read it yourself. There's more orchids, and it's a cringy view of me running across the store. Some bamboo looking orchids and some hanging orchids, like they mount staghorns in. They have these guys with a dragon fruit looking bottom. And they have some mounted, and here's the dragon fruit looking bottom again. I wonder if they're edible. Maybe I should try it. Chirophyllatum, styro, I don't know what that is. But some of them are in bloom, and their blooms are yellow and they're hanging down. I can't tell because I am doing a voiceover again, so I'm just looking at the screen and talking. And here's like a cacti, like a Thanksgiving one, I think. And the Skidia, that's all I know. And more bamboo orchids, and the more Phalaenopsis, and I know these guys are called mottled orchids. So they have a mottled kind of design on their leaves. And those ones are actually pretty popular, actually. And these are the regular Phalaenopsis orchids that you'd see at a grocery store maybe. And here's a... Oh, those are the names of the orchids. Sorry, I was reading them. Those are the names of the people who own the orchids, actually. Now, here's something I know. The Luscidia discolor is probably like the only orchid that I'm mostly familiar with, and they're in bloom. And I do see them in nurseries. They're not usually in bloom. And here's some orchids, and I do think like orchids get these viruses because some of them say they get viruses, and that's called a Pombay, I think, orchid. And they do get yellow stuff when they get a virus. I don't know much until I get like at least like 5 orchids. I can't make a video about them at this point. You just got a sneak peek of my friend who was like recording the video for me partially. Some of the orchids have a bromeliad type of shape to them. And this one's called the Tying Shin Golden orchid. So yeah, and I really like the orchids with have aerial roots that stick out of the pot. I really think it adds something to it, and not just a orchid. More mottled orchids, the regular Phalaenopsis. And I do think the owners will pick them up in the spring mostly because most orchids like the Phalaenopsis are mostly in bloom in the spring, I think. Don't take my word for that like at all. And in this video, I kept thinking the names of the people were the names of the orchids, so sorry for that. I kept showing you the tag. And I am recording this at home on my bed, so sorry if I sound so lazy. Okay. So look at the bloom on that one. It kind of looks like one of those things that you'd see outside on the bushes, but I've never seen a bloom like that on an orchid. I usually just assume they're like that regular orchid flower shape. And here's another orchid with a tremendous amount of aerial roots coming out of it that looks glossy and beautiful. Like you rub mayo all over it, but is another orchid that's infected with the virus. And some of them are planted in, wow, look at that. It literally looks like an umbrella just like hanging over all the plants. That's a centerpiece for sure. And there's a orchid little hanging curtain right there. Look at those. They look like leather flowers or something. Those are beautiful. Just gonna take you a field trip through this orchid roots over there. Okay. And there are a mix of different plants, as one person owns a whole entire bench area. So there's some hanging Hoya caryi in the back and stuff like that, but I'm just showing you the orchids for now, because I don't think I can go back there. I don't know. I'm taking you through the field trip through the mosses again, I guess, and the orchid roots. I wonder how I didn't get banned and got an eye squash or something. But here's a quick overview of what I just took you through. There's a air plant right there. We're just gonna go through the door to the next orchid shop thing. This is the shop that you can actually buy the orchids from. The rest of them, the other one was just an owning one, but this one you could actually buy orchids, and most of their orchids are actually 30% off. So the most of the orchids that are $20 are ones that are dragon fruit bottomed. None of the mottled orchids have a $20 price tag on them. So the cheapest you can go here is $20 actually, but for an orchids, I see other plant tubers make them at like $45. So I think that's really reasonable for an orchid. Look at those mottled phalaenopsis. I'm trying to read the name off of it, but can't see it. So sorry if I can't read it. Pretty sure that's called the lemon lime orchid, which is like so basic for every philodendron, but King Charles. That's another popular one, I know. And this one's called the Phaleophyllum Fred Steady. I don't know. Butchering like every name here. This one is called a Pfaff hybrid, at least one I can pronounce. And this one's not mottled. It's a regular non-mottled, I guess. I don't think it's a phalaenopsis. That's another phalaenopsis. That's a Pfaff. I think they just say Pfaff instead of phalaenopsis, but I'm just saying Pfaff. 20% off, again, on all orchids and orchid supplies. And they have a lot of potting mixes, and some of them are in soil, so they got root rot, and obviously they don't own the ones that got root rot because people do. But the orchids that these people own are in healthy conditions and are all virus free. And some of the orchids look like corn plants, to be honest. I'm like really new into the orchid thing, so I don't know any names of them at all. And I heard that if you lose the name tag of the orchids, you can't sell them anymore, because with the millions of varieties, it's almost impossible to figure out which one you have. So here's just an overview of the orchids that are $20 here. Okay, there's some orchids with dots on them, I guess, and some are growing on rocks. It's called a Phaphethus ortis. I don't know. Sorry. Pretty sure the orchid professionals are like attacking me in the comments, like, what are you saying? And bulboplastum. Never heard of that, actually. Pfaff. I can't read it. I'm going so fast here. Sorry you can't read it neither. I'm like the worst video taker in the world because I'm going so fast. I'm so socially awkward. Keep running by because like the people are looking at me. And there's like barely anyone here. That's probably the reason why they're going out of order. But like these people deserve a lot more attention than they already got. they got such beautiful orchids here that deserve a lot more attention. I don't know why I just showed you the ground, but okay, you can see it. Okay. And there's the virus-free orchids. So that means they tested the orchid and just like treated it for virus, I think. Or I don't know, virus-free means it's free of viruses everywhere, but I don't know. I don't know orchid language. Orchid 9501. Probably just the name of Bulwark Gold. Why can't they make the names basic, at least for the Phalaenopsis? I mean, okay. Here I am just showing you the orchids again, I guess. Weird. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking so you can actually see something. Okay, I'm back again, I guess. Okay, so it's called the Karstowixi Michael. This one has the black dots on it again. This one's like a snake plant, I guess. Or it's a Dracaena now. They have more orchids with like a lot of aerial roots coming out of them. Look at the flower on that one. Alright, more motelled orchids. I guess I'm showing you the same thing again, but I'm just doing an overview this time, so I'm not going to get in close with the orchids. And this one's called the Pfaff King Charles Top Gun Ruby Voodoo, I guess. This one's the Pfaff Liamona Halls. Oh, this one's another really popular one I've seen in like Plot Me Ashley hauls and stuff like that. Harley G as well, but really big fan of those YouTubers actually. You can't see a thing, but it's called Pfaff Cram or something like that. Look at that cacti with like orchids off of it. What in the world is that? Looks like it's gonna kill me any second now just by falling on me. Look at the flowers on that one though, it's beautiful. Look at this orchid wall with just like the regular orchid pots. I'm thinking I'm gonna make a video about orchid pots as well. Okay, so we're back from Orchid Trail Nurseries, and it was a mid-afternoon sun out there, so I wasn't able to film the conclusion there, but here I am after I filmed the intro like a second ago. And so I hope you like that place, and maybe you can check them out. And they're actually going to be moving in March, so if you couldn't come before March, that will be better, as they'll be moving to Durham, which will be further or closer to you where you live. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you like my video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, see you next time. Bye!